No tenants needed. Smart passive investments. That's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. The best investments for accredited investors who love real estate, love cash flow, but hate the headaches associated with rental properties. If you want predictable income without the drama, this video is for you. Rentals, at the end of the day, aren't really passive. You've got tenants, which means you have people and you have communication and ultimately work. You got repairs, you have turnover. Ultimately, cash flow can disappear fast. A lot of wealthy investors, they shift away from rentals, even if they've been in it for years. They may have made most of their money in the rental business or in the real estate business. They shift away from it at some point, looking for a more predictable, more passive income. I've got 4 different options for you today in terms of how to achieve that with passive income. The first one is real estate debt funds, real estate debt funds. Ultimately, it's about being the bank. Being the bank, you're going to be in first mortgage lien position and just lend the money out. Investors buy these things, borrow from the scenario like this from a debt fund so they can go and remodel a house, resell a house, or they'll go remodel it and turn it to a rental property and ultimately get permanent financing at a later point in time and pay it off. It's predictable returns backed by collateral. That do it in geographical locations that are strategic and create some lower volatility. Things in the Midwest, for example, versus the coast. Next one up, doing the same thing, but doing it private lending, meaning that you're not into a debt fund, you're not into a co-lending fund where somebody else is the person executing on this, but it's you. Private lending, you're directly lending these notes to other people who are doing just this. Same benefits, first lien position, which means you've got downside protection, hands-off income after you originate the loan, and so long as there aren't any issues. So what does this come with? It does come with more work. There's no doubt about it. But if you like control, you like to be in the deal, this might be a really good option for you. And certainly, if done right, the rates of return increase. All right, next one up. Triple net leases on any sort of asset. Triple net lease, or an absolute lease. The difference is once in a while in triple net lease, the landlord might be responsible for things like exterior structure, including the roof and the parking lot. An absolute net would be you're leasing this to a tenant and they do absolutely everything, which means you do nothing. Truly passive income. The rates of return there, typically not as attractive as a debt fund, for example, but you do have lower headaches. You certainly have very strong tenants, oftentimes credit-worthy tenants, and very long leases. So in some cases, you may end up with a lease as long as 15 years. All right, last one. REITs versus real estate. So real estate investment trust versus real estate. Well, at the end of the day, REITs can be truly hands-off. You can invest in either debt or equity inside of a REIT. It's hands-off, it's passive income. The risk, though, is it does end up with higher volatility. REITs are historically tied very significantly to the performance of the stock market. They are highly correlated with both the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So if you do have some exposure on the stock market standpoint, so if that's okay, it might be a really good option for you. So they can certainly make sense on an equity side if you like being invested and want to be longer term. On the debt side, you can find some options there that pay pretty darn good dividends. So if you want predictable income without the tenants, without the toilets, without the headaches, without the turnover, these investments are game changers. And if you want to learn how we structure things on the real estate debt fund side, I dropped a link below with another video in the description here.